Senator Mike Lee is complaining about Joe Biden trying to Trump-proof the government going forward. And what is he doing? Well, Joe Biden is approving grants and measures to make sure projects have got their funding going forward. And that would make it very hard for Donald Trump just to unilaterally stop them. The other thing is, Mike Lee was complaining that by Joe Biden approving these grants, the Impoundment Control Act comes into play. The Impoundment Control Act of 1974. Now, what is that about? Well, the Impoundment Control Act of 74 basically says a president can only hold up money for 45 days after Congress has approved it, unless Congress reconsiders and decides to back up withdraw the funding, basically. And all the presidents have done it. And before they passed that act, some presidents would refuse to just spend the money that Congress had approved. And this had been dealt with by the Supreme Court numerous times. And they have said the president does not have the unilateral authority to just not spend appropriated money from Congress, because the power of the purse rests with Congress. Well, Mike Lee's repeal of the Impoundment Control Act would get rid of that 45-day limit, and he says it would just allow the president to continue to quit spending money. He would say, if Donald Trump wanted to just not fund the Department of Education permanently, he'd say, okay, we're just not spending that money. And I think Supreme Court would say not a thing. That's, the power of the purse, as I said, sits with Congress. But Mike Lee is trying to do this as a way for them to be able to extend power to Trump to pull back money that Congress has already approved, and Joe Biden is just making sure it gets spent. So I don't think this passes through Congress. I don't think it gets past the filibuster in the Senate. But they're trying to give Donald Trump, at least some senators are trying to give Donald Trump the ability to just not spend approved money through Congress. Don't think it's going to happen with this bill. I don't think the courts are going to allow it, because this has been ruled on before. I think it's just a desperate attempt by Republicans trying to make sure that the projects that Joe Biden wants to get done, that he's making sure have the funding, could get stopped by Trump. And I don't think it's going to work.